Welcome to the second Afro News discussion. The first one was about the state of democracies across the continent. And today we're going to be talking about China involvement on the African continent on the economic level. And to talk today, we have Lufto, we have Mahela, we have Emma, and in the audience, we're going to have Nick, who's going to be intervening at some point. So before the start, I want to first give my prayers to all the people in Senegal right now with all the protests and the chaos happening there. I hope everything gets back to normal and that the situation get better. So today we're going to start by talking about China. And this is something that is everybody noticed about how China started to get really, really interested about the African continent, especially in terms of economy. They have been building a lot of bridges, stadium, having trade with African continent. By this time, they are arguably the number one trade country with African continent. So the discussion today is surrounding how do we feel as African about China's involvement in terms of economy with our countries. So the first question that's going to help us, engage into the discussion is how do you feel about China's economic involvement with the African continent? So to pave the way, I'm going to start. So the way I feel about that is a mixed feeling. I feel like we can both gain from what they offer us, but at the same time, I have this, feeling of neocolonialism and the idea that they might be using this thing to control us in some kind of way. So what do you guys think?
I kind of have to agree. Because historically, Africa has been a really resource-rich place, and even still today, it still has lots of resources, and that's why there's so much interest from foreign investment and stuff like that. But I feel especially with China, because if the deals were I guess as beneficial for both parties, it'd be okay. But from my research, I know some deals are have a lot of debt attached to it, and because of that, it's set to put African countries in massive debt to China, and I think that's a way that China can control some of those African countries to, I guess, propagate their interests and stuff like that. So on one hand, it's good, but depending on how the deals are made, I feel the potential of it being really detrimental to Africa can be really massive, especially considering the just past colonization, and because even with that the impacts that left, even now we're still trying to recover from that, and now China's involvement is as you said, it seems like a neo-colonialist move as well. Because once you control most of the resources in Africa, you can basically control a lot more of the world. And if you put those African countries in debt, you're able to push your agendas more easily. And so that's my only issue with the Chinese investment in Africa, because it seems to be putting African countries in control and into their I guess their pockets, I guess. So on the top.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I feel most of the deals have caused our countries to be more dependent on them. They teach us different skills, they've improved our technologies, but it just makes us more dependent because we don't know how to move forward, or we need them to teach us more. They don't really leave anything behind for us to use, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Very nice thought. So it's true that a lot of countries are doing trade with China, but at the same time, it's not all countries that are in debt. For example, I can talk about my country, which has been doing some great deal with China, but they're not in debt. But there are other countries, for example, in East Africa that have a lot of debt coming from China. So is the issue is each country mismanagement of how they deal with China? Because I feel some country get so much in debt because they don't know how to deal with China, while other they succeed in dealing with China. For example, the example that I just gave about my country being able to successfully deal with China in terms of trade and making sure that they control their debt. Do you believe that is a individual country problem, or is it a recurring thing about China?
I feel like it's both. I mean, like, of course, like there's some countries who are able to negotiate a better deal, but like even with that, like for example, like if so, even with your country, right? Like you guys have a better deal with China, but like because of the other countries in Africa, them not having as good deals as well, they'll be able to apply, I guess, more pressure on your country, like for future trades, for example, like looking towards the future as they get like more control over different African countries, they'll be able to put more pressure on the ones that have good deals, for example, and so that moving forward, like any other new deals that y'all guys have might have like you might not be able to negotiate as well as you did in the beginning type thing, because now like for example, let's say you guys are dependent on like resources from a country that has like a lot of debt from China. China can be like, yo, we want to trade with your country, but like there's this issue, right? And so we want them to like reduce their asking price or something like that, right? And so they can apply pressure onto that country to limit the resources to you guys, and through that, you guys will have to, if you want the resources to continue, you have to concede to the demands that China has about the deal that you're negotiating. So like I feel like it's an issue, yes, both like for China, both with like the way the Chinese negotiate and like the way that countries allow themselves, I guess, to fall into those debt traps. But like ultimately, I feel like it will be more detrimental to like the continent as a whole, because they'll be able to apply that pressure even to those countries that are able to negotiate well with China.
So from what I'm understanding from your point is that even though few countries successfully are able to do trade with China, because the other countries in the region are being trapped by China, it can in the future lead to the whole region being trapped by China. Okay. Any thought on?
I want to go back on what you said. Who is benefiting from China's trade? I think personally in my country, I don't think we are benefiting, because they already are establishing themselves there, and the products they even provide. Let's say some of them try to build roads, but then you'll see in a month or couple years later, the roads are going to have cracks again, you know. So I think they are really, I would say, exploiting to a certain level, and then us, we just, pour ourselves in debt again, hoping that, they will bring better materials, resources. Now they try to build a second bridge that connects two of our towns back home, and then it's been going on for what, almost 3 years now. I don't know if the bridge is over or they finished constructing it, but I'm pretty sure the product is SHIT, because that bridge will last. But they have been charging us huge amounts of millions of francs, and we'll see. I don't think we are benefiting, but they are definitely gaining from that.
So from our discussion, we also talked about how Africa has a history of dealing with Western countries and foreign countries compared to our past partners, like, for example, the French, the Westerners. How do you feel? Do you feel China has better deal than them for us than they had?
I don't know much about African economics and politics, but I feel, to the question that you just asked, I feel like China's involvement today is an extension of Western influence in the past, right? So my question to you, to all four of you guys is, to what extent do you feel African nations need to employ like protectionist policies to protect resources and the government?
So to answer that question, I believe that in order for us to be applying protectionist policies, we need to be able to have the resources to make that protectionist policies work for us. Countries that are able to do that, they are countries that can transform their own resources. The issue with Africa is that we have resources, but we can't transform them. So we can't benefit from them. We can't double the values. So that's where my question was coming from. What if we make better deal with China use the expertise, build our industry, and transform our resources.
Before someone answers that, right? You said that African nations can't apply protectionist policies because they can't develop resources, is what you're saying.
No, I said that we are not at the point where we can apply protectionist policies because we don't have the technology that are required to transform our natural resources. What are we going to do with cocoa, brute cocoa? It doesn't have any value compared to the chocolate. So by, making better deal with China and making sure that we come out of those deals with expertise from them, with machines and stuff like that can transform our brute resources, we can double the value of our resources and then apply a protectionist policy.
So again, that African nations should make the manufacturing industry a priority in order to move forward.
Yes.
Okay, all right, cool.
That's what I'm saying. So coming back to the question about, so my question here is that, do you believe that African can thrive economically if they don't deal with foreign countries?
I mean, the thing is, like, you need to do countries to develop. Like that's you can't survive, especially like because of like globalization. You can't survive on your own, type thing. But like, for Africa and like for African countries to move as a whole, you need to be like monolithic as an African continent, because like that's even like colonialist powers before like during colonialism, the way that they were able to get as much resources as they could is because they divided and conquered. Like that's been like the strategy. Like even now, like by dividing African countries and having like pitting African countries against each other, they're able to capitalize on that chaos, and they can like they can dictate like the deals and like the financial incentives and all the like they dictate the rules basically because they're able to control it. Like if Africa wants to move forward as a continent, like at least for me personally, I feel like we need to be more monolithic as a continent type thing, and be able to like put ourselves first, because like the issue is that like once like a foreign power comes through, right? Like for example, they'll have a chance to invest in two countries, right? And then to do that and to be able to invest in them, they're gonna be like kind of pit the countries against each other, like who will give us a better deal. And because of that, now these countries will reduce whatever, or like will remove whatever restrictions that they had to appear more appealing to the foreign power, and that way they become like, I don't know, like they have less power in the negotiations as well. You see, like by pitting the countries against each other, like foreign powers have more control over like the rules and like the negotiations and how much they can benefit.
Further on that, I think actually African countries should make friends, like they should align themselves so that those Western or foreign countries don't come and try and divide us. So I think if we make friends or even good deals with neighboring countries in Africa, we can be strong together and we can prevent that, what your idea from happening. It'll be good.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. As we were talking, I was thinking about my home country and our relationship with China, and I think we kind of have a better relationship, like seeing the way you guys are describing it. We have like deals that are called friendship deals that we have with China, and they've made small projects, like specifically in my hometown, they've come to help the farmers, they've improved the technology, they've tried to like teach us things and like advance our technology and make sure that, especially in agriculture. So in that aspect, I see that as being a positive. But now, when they leave, like, do they make sure that our people like actually know how to deal with the manufacturing tools or know how to advance from there? That's where I'm like a bit concerned. But yeah.
So from the discussion we had now, the conclusion is that we know that there's good side and benefit that come with dealing with China, but at the same time, really careful about being dependent on Chinese involvement in the country and being afraid of getting into the debt trap that a lot of countries have been getting into. So in order to remedy that from the discussion that we had, we found out that it's better to encourage more internal trade on the African continent to robust our economy in order to trade with foreign countries. So thank you very much for this discussion about China and its involvement with the continent. It was a very enriching one. We learned from our different guests. We had different opinions, and yeah. Great.